The Solana price is threatening to dump lower. I brought you a video yesterday about Solana saying that we needed to break through this in order to avoid a potential dump to the downside. Something very interesting is happening in the Solana chart as well as the Bitcoin chart. In today's episode, we're going to see how much further this Solana dump can continue to the downside, so make sure you stick around to the end of the episode for that. So guys, as we can see right now, this is on the 1 hour Solana US dollar chart. We are seeing Solana pushing down, currently at $136. Having broken out of this recent rising wedge pattern, it is now starting to threaten to push lower. Now, what is the reasoning behind that? If we jump over to the Bitcoin chart briefly before we look at some price predictions for Solana, we can see that Bitcoin was in this rising wedge pattern, which is more often than not a bearish pattern. And as you can see, the price of Bitcoin has just dumped from $44,000 over $1,000 in the space of just about 10 or so minutes, and potentially could continue further. However, the next sort of downside limit for this pattern would be around this level here at around 42,500. Zooming out a bit on this onto the 4 hour, we can see something a bit similar to what we see on the Solana US dollar chart, with some sort of a falling wedge pattern here, with potential after a bit of a push to the downside, perhaps around these levels we could see a bounce back. Now, we need to care about what's happening to Bitcoin because ultimately it controls the crypto market, and Solana is obviously affected by the Bitcoin price. So zooming out further on the Solana US dollar chart, I want to take a swing high all the way back in May when the Solana price was around $57 and drop it down to the swing low where we saw lows of around $21 for Solana. Now, we saw the other day where we came down and we touched this 2.618 down at this level at around $117, and potentially we see Bitcoin continue to fall. Then we could also see the Solana price taking a further push down towards these levels at around $116, $117 level. Now, potentially, if we look back in the past, this was substantial where we found support and resistance, and then recently we had this tumble down to here, so showing that this is potentially a very strong line of support for the Solana price as well. It probably will intersect with this sort of yellow line coming down here, which is the bottom of this trend line. Now ultimately, when the price is falling, we do tend to feel pretty panicked, but this is, as I've been mentioning previously, a bullish pattern. And while it didn't break out here, I did say that if it failed to come down here, we would potentially come down and look for another bounce at a lower level. If we then come back and bounce, then we will still have the price target, which is all the way back up at around the $233 level for the Solana price. Looking where the price is sitting right now, if we are unable to find support here, then in my opinion, we are going to come to these levels, but we are finding support here. And why is this level significant? If we look back in the past when we did break through, we had resistance here. We came and flipped this into support for a while. We found support again with this wick, and again we found it multiple times, which is showing that this is probably going to be a difficult line for Solana to be breaking down through. However, it's not unheard of that it can push lower, and we might see a lot of fear entering the market. But when we are seeing fear entering the market, guys, fear often, in my opinion, is a time and a signal for us to be perhaps accumulating. Obviously, trading is risky. Go away and do your own research. This is just what I am looking to potentially do down at these levels between the $136 level and around the $115 level. Even if we do come down to these levels, then we should potentially hold strong, and then we are going to be pushing back at some point towards these higher levels. Now, obviously, it's impossible to tell exactly when these things are going to happen because there's a lot of other external factors, but the charts right now are showing us that we failed to break through at this level, and we are going to take a visit to a lower level if we are unable to maintain support at this level, which at the moment it looks unlikely that we're going to do that, and that this quick kind of recovery that we had is probably going to be wiped out, and we are going to be pushing back further towards the downside. Now, obviously, you can still make money trading when the markets are falling, and the way to do that is by looking at some sort of leverage trading platform, and that's a platform like this, which is Prime XBT, which is based in Switzerland, and a great opportunity to be able to short the markets. Obviously, trading, again, particularly shorting, can be a very risky thing, but if you sign up in the link, which is just down in the description, you get up to 50% of your deposit back as a bonus, which means you can effectively trade this move for free. So make sure you head down to that link now and sign up today if you want to be up for winning that bonus. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Make sure you hit the like for the YouTube algorithm, as well as subscribe if you are new to the channel. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.